Alright, these are the types of clips when we look at them, I get really confused behind them because, you know, these people, they seem to really think that they're doing something, right? They think that by going out and filming this and doing this, they think that like they're being funny, or they think that they're just, you know, they're playing a big prank or whatever, right? They always got some, I guess, backstory behind it to what makes it okay, right? That makes it fine. But I get really sick and tired of seeing this for a couple good reasons, okay? Now, I personally think when it comes down to it, man, you should not be touching anybody, right? Don't put your hands on anyone. If it's unwarranted or unsolicited, do not touch people. I value my personal space a lot. I don't like it when people get too close to me. I don't like people touching me. Especially if I don't know you, man, don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't pat my shoulder. Don't do any of that, right? Like, I don't know what people think this is. I'm not finger painting, okay? Let's go ahead and keep our hands to ourselves, especially if you're a grown adult. I don't understand why that's such a hard thing for people to follow. I don't think that it's something that people should have a problem with, right? It seems like a fairly basic and, you know, standard practice, in my opinion, but apparently some people just can't handle it, some people don't understand it, so with that being said, man, I think I'm just going to show you guys the clip and then we'll just talk about it afterwards, because I think that's the best approach we can take here, so with that being said, go ahead and take a look. Okay, so you saw it. You saw what I'm talking about here. Now, when you look at that, I just want everyone to realize this, okay? I don't think that it's morally really okay to just be going around touching anybody on their thigh. I would feel pretty uncomfortable, to be honest, if some random woman on the train grabbed my leg. I mean, if we're talking about, I don't know, Madison Beer, she grabs my thigh, maybe I'm a little bit more okay with it, to be honest, but no, on a very serious note, it's just weird, right? It's odd. Like I said, I value my personal space. I don't like it when my friends touch me. I really don't even like it when my family touches me. I'm not a big fan of that, right? It's just not something I'm particularly cool with. And then you also got to think about the fact we're in a global pandemic. You know what I'm saying? We're in the midst of a global health crisis. You do not need to be touching other people. If there's any time right now to not be touching anyone, this is the time. I get no one's wearing a mask really in this video. To be fair, maybe the video was filmed before this whole thing happened, which is, I don't know, kind of possible or whatever. But I mean, like right now, dude, if someone touched me out in public, I'd probably have something quite fucking rude to say back to them because I'm not trying to get the Rona, man. I'm trying to be okay. Just to add insult to injury with you touching me. But now, let's consider the context, I guess, behind this. The video is very obviously sexually charged. It seems like what's happening here, the girl is going around grabbing people to see how they'd react to a pretty sexual grab on their leg in a public area, okay? Usually when someone goes grabbing your thigh like that, it's probably leading to something else. So I guess it's supposed to kind of put this person on the spot to see how they're supposed to react. Now, that enough is weird. It's like, bro, you're on a fucking train, you're on the subway or whatever here, using public transportation, bro. People are just trying to go home. Dude probably had a long day at work, you know what I'm saying? Maybe had some classes or something he had to wrap up if, I don't know, his school is going back to physical classes this year or anything, but people probably just trying to relax for a minute on the subway. I saw a segment in an old Filthy Frank video about just pieces of shit, right? And it was talking about, you know, these people, they don't have cars, so that's why they're on the subway. That's why these people are using public transportation, so their life already probably isn't going as well as they want it to go. Not to, like, devalue public transportation, because it honestly can be a good thing in a lot of, like, metropolitan areas and whatnot, but people are already going through shit. And then you have these assholes who get on the subway, who get on the train or whatever, and they gotta make a public spectacle of themselves. They have to make a scene out of themselves, because I don't know, I guess everything has to be about them, you know what I'm saying? They literally can't even get on a fucking train without becoming the center of attention, without everyone having to look at them. But let's disregard all of that, right? Let's consider a little bit more here. Let's think a little bit deeper into this whole subject here, right? So it's a woman grabbing a man's thigh, well, actually several men's thighs, I should say, to kind of see how they'd react to how they'd be put on the spot or whatever. Haha, funny, right? I think a lot of you already know where I'm about to go with this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Imagine if a man did this. Imagine if the roles were reversed, okay? Imagine if any of these guys got on the train and some, attractive woman was sitting there, minding her own fucking business, looking at her phone, reading the paper, whatever people do, to pass the time on the train, and some guy grabbed her thigh, pretty close to her crotch, to try and put her on the spot, and better yet, had someone across from them, sitting across from them, recording the situation. I think I can tell you how that situation would go. Not only would a woman be screaming, and there might be several people on the train trying to beat this guy's ass, or restrain this sexual deviant animal, there would be criminal police charges, there would be a newspaper article about it. It would be all over the place, man. It would be a horrible crime that occurred on the train. This pervert, how dare he get on the train and grab women's thighs and put them in that situation. But remember, if a woman records it on TikTok and she does it to men, it's supposed to be haha funny joke. How many other people on the train do you think saw this happen and thought that it was weird, or thought that it was out of pocket, or thought that it was, even going as far as it would be if the roles were reversed, a sexual crime, okay? It's that simple. I know people are going to try and spin this video out of context too, because people love doing this when this kind of argument gets brought up, because they just really want to victimize as hard as they fucking can and make it out like, oh my god, this man is just attacking women again. But that's not what's going on here, okay? I'm all for men being treated like idiots and like pieces of garbage if they touch women on the subway. But my whole point here is, why is it okay for women to do it? Why is it just a big TikTok joke if women do it? Why do we as a society think that we should hold each other to these really stupid standards that we won't hold ourselves to? I think I hold a pretty simple worldview when it comes down to shit like this. If I would get on a train and do it, and it would be considered a crime, then it should be the same way for everyone. And if another person does something and it would be considered a crime or wrong, it should be considered the same if I do it. I don't think that that's a hard rule to follow. I don't think that that's a hard thing for society to get on board with. And it goes beyond just this kind of shit, right? These quote-unquote TikTok pranks or whatever, where they go and harass people on the subway for the entertainment of people on social media. There's so many different instances in society where the law and rules aren't applied equally to people, and they should be. I'm not sure why we hold each other to these standards that we don't hold ourselves to, but I think that that's nuts. I mean, you can just literally look at the reactions on these guys' faces and just tell how uncomfortable they pretty much are. Anyone who understands body language can look at this and be like, yeah, these guys, they're not really comfortable with what's going on here. They would never have expected this to happen on the train. And if you've never been put in an awkward situation where you've never had to, like, I guess, react on the fly, it's not comfortable for a lot of people, man. I don't really know how you would never have been put into one of those situations, but it's not fun, and it's not something that people should have to deal with, especially when they're just trying to commute. If you want to film shit like this, get people who are okay with it. If you want to film shit like this, get people who, I guess, agree to do it, okay? Which, I mean, would destroy the whole purpose, I guess, of this entire situation, but this is just stupid, and I think it's time that this kind of stuff gets called out for what it is. So, I mean, I think the moral of this video is obvious. Don't go around putting your hands on people. Don't go around touching people. You have no reason to do so. You have no right to do so. Nobody thinks that what you're doing's funny. Nobody likes it when you touch them without permission or without reason. We're in the midst of a global pandemic. Please keep your hands to yourself. And even if we weren't, I guess, in the midst of a global pandemic, I don't think that it's hard to keep to your own personal space, even on public transport where you're packed in like sardines. There's no reason to touch anyone else for any other reason than if they agree with it, okay? If they're cool with it, that's fine, but if they're not, don't touch them. I think that that's simple. So if you can't follow that, don't get on public transportation, don't leave your house. I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Moral of the story. So with all that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, not touching people on the train, and signing out.